Do you share his view that the Fed will cut this year?
Well, I cannot comment on Fed policy, and the president wasn't really commenting on Fed policy either. He was, answering a question about what everyone knows, as you all talk about on television all the time, what we think they'll do. Here's the thing, as the president noted, we have brought inflation down markedly. It's down by 60%. And, the economy continues to grow at a healthy clip. We saw over 300,000 jobs last Friday. We got that for March. We continue to see this economy delivering for the American people. And, and the president continues to work to make sure that he's lowering costs for families, even as he is focused on growing the economy from the middle out.
Well, Dr. Boushey, I have to throw all my questions out. I thought it was open season on the Fed after what the president said yesterday. Now that you've set us straight once again, talk to us about the PPI data this morning. Everyone seems to be feeling at least a bit of relief after a freakout that followed the CPI yesterday. To the extent that this is a forward-looking indicator, what does it tell you about the trajectory for prices?
Well, certainly, when we got the CPI data yesterday, it came in hotter than expected. It was at the same rate as in February, and so that was sort of, made us all like, oh well, we're not seeing the kind of lower inflation that we'd like to see. But certainly today's news, I think, tempers that a little bit. It muddies the forecast, if you will. If we'd gotten something hotter, maybe we would think that the trajectory had changed. But I think it's clear that we have been on this path of lowering prices over time. Inflation has been coming down, and I think we continue to be on that trajectory. Granted, it has been a little bit slower more lately, but of course we are down now in the 3% range for inflation, and that is far below where we were during the peak of the higher inflation rates.
Well, Heather, as you talk about the idea that maybe you're not seeing quite the progress that you would have expected to or like to see at this point, what is your degree of confidence that we're not going to see an outright reacceleration? Stagnation and deceleration is one thing, but do you see any forces at work in the economy that could suggest that inflation might actually pick back up?
Listen, we are in such a different moment than we were when inflation spiked, right? We were coming out of the pandemic. We were seeing these real significant challenges with supply chains all around the world. And then, of course, we had Putin's unprovoked war in the Ukraine that upended global energy prices. We have weathered these challenges, and quite frankly, the United States has weathered these far better in many ways than many of our economic competitors. We've seen stronger growth. We've seen our unemployment rate now below 4% for 25 months in a row, and we've seen our prices come down quite markedly, especially relative to our economic competitors. So looking forward, I think we have this strength we have this strong foundation to stand on, and we aren't seeing the same kinds of shocks that we had seen that got us into the higher prices in the first place.
I know part of your modeling on the Council of Economic Advisors includes trying to figure out where we're going to be months into the future. Heather Boushey, can you tell us where inflation is expected to be around Labor Day when people start paying attention to the political conversation in this country?
Well, as I think I've noted before, I don't actually have a crystal ball. We certainly do at the Council of Economic Advisors. We are certainly looking at these numbers all the time. We are looking at the whole economy, trying to understand, are we going to continue to see job growth at the pace that we've seen it? We can see that investment boom continue, and where will prices be? And we believe that we will continue to see this pace slowing over time, as we have been seeing. They've been coming down, and of course, the president has been focused on using all the tools that he has at his disposal to make sure that he lowers costs for families. So this is the first president to be negotiating with big pharma over prescription drug prices. That's going to lower prices for seniors all across the country. Of course, he's lowering the cost of student debt for all of those borrowers. He made a big announcement earlier this week, and it's going to affect 30 million borrowers across the country. And is just really focused on all the other ways that we see prices increase. For example, all the work that we've done across the administration to get rid of junk fees, those hidden fees that we all have to deal with. So it's adding up these, the president is doing his part to really address the fact that it's been hard on families to have these high prices and to do what he can to lower them.
And finally, Heather, thank you so much again for joining us from the White House this evening, where, of course, somewhere in those buildings behind you, there is a meeting going on between President Biden and the president of the Philippines and the prime minister of Japan. And we know there has been some tension in the U.S.-Japan relationship in terms of the attempted acquisition, at least, of Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel. The president, when he has spoken about this deal, cites that he has the backs of American steel workers, that he's committed to these American workers. What exactly is the economic concern for these workers that would stem from a takeover like this?
Well, the president has been very clear in so many points across this administration that he stands with workers, that he has their back, that he's making sure that his economic agenda is growing from the middle out. And part of what he means by that is making sure that workers are benefiting from economic growth. I think the concern here is, workers want to make sure that they are benefiting from those investments that are happening in steel, that they will continue to see their jobs and good jobs moving into the future. And the president is also, as today we're witnessing, is focusing on making sure that we have a good relationship with the Japanese. So, he is focused on making sure that this economy works for people all across the country and delivers for them so that we can see the kind of growth that's going to benefit American families.